Well, it is true that when we set out a few years ago talking about the recovery of Spain, we had great expectations about the recovery, and there were projections which only partially have come true. We've also been through the cycle where big NPL portfolios and distressed portfolios were traded. I think that story has, that's a market we've seen that's come and gone. And we are in the second stage now, which is basically the value-added stage. And I think it is true that obviously that yields are very aggressive. And if you compare them to London, to Paris, to Germany, you might even find them at par, at face level. The question is, where are those markets in their maturity? And this is a market where still there is room for recovery. We've seen that in the last 2 years, rents have recovered more or less in line with some of the projections, not with those projections who said it's going to be 15% per year, per annum, but it's been like 7%, 6-7% per annum that rents have recovered. If you look at the historical median, I think there is still room to grow at best traded buildings, highest deals probably, and best rented buildings in Madrid. Right now, you're probably at par with 1992 rents. So there is room for growth, and that I would hold is not the case in Frankfurt, in London, and Paris. So I think, and when you then turn it around, and this is our job more, I mean, we're looking at it more as an asset manager than an investor. We're not so much looking at initial yields, we're rather looking at capital values. And it's true that even capital values have increased and are more expensive now in Spain. But I think if you look at it under that perspective, you will find that you have an entry-level capital value, you have an additional investment, you have an exit level, and you have a growth projection. And the question is what is the medium, long term you want to stay in? So, in a nutshell, I guess we've come forward since in those 5 years. It's a different perspective now. And obviously, something that the country needs to sort out is the political thing that sort of is stalling a lot of development and work. For example, the labor market and internal investment is not as dynamic as we would have hoped.